So my voice is okay, right? Can anyone confirm or
Yes, sir.
feel any problem? Okay. So today we will start with agentic AI, and in the current scenario, this is the most important topic. Uh, so with the help of agentic, uh, there are many works uh, previously which take time, but due to agentic, it take very less time, and many companies are switching or completing their tasks with the help of agentic AI. Okay, so for agentic AI, Gen AI is the base, and from that base, we are basically exploring. We will explore more things and try to automate the process, and also uh, with the help of Gen AI and agentic things, we will try to make a more complex or try to solve more complex task. Okay, so let's start with agentic AI. So first, let's see, since you people have read about or already seen the generative AI. So what is generative AI? So generative AI is nothing but any model, let's say any model which can either can generate text, image, audio, video. Okay, so generative AI, generative means generate, right? So generative, the purpose of Gen AI is to generate anything. Okay, so that generation can be text, image, audio, or video. Okay, there can be some other thing as well, but mainly these are the four things that they uh, generate. So if you ask any question, it will give some output. Okay, so that output is basically a generation. So in that, text generation or image generation, audio or video generation is there. So because of that, the name is generative AI. So it only generate. Okay, now, and in that also, most of the time we use generally text. Okay, so for text, if you see like GPT 4o or GPT 5, okay, and similarly Claude, Llama, Mistral, okay, DeepSeek, Quen. So all these models are basically capable of generating a text. Okay, now if we see the generative AI thing, uh, it do the task only what you have asked for. Okay, for example, if I say what is, okay, so it will generate the output. Okay, but in Gen AI, people observe that what, let's say if I have to do some task, uh, for example, if I want to book a flight, okay, so let's say the task is book a flight, flight ticket. Okay, so for booking a flight ticket, what are the things that we will require? Okay, first, let's say uh, you ask, the query is book a flight ticket from Bangalore to Hyderabad. Okay, you, let's say if you have asked this question to Chat GPT. Okay, let's see what will happen. Book a flight ticket from Bangalore to Hyderabad. Okay, see what happens. Its first step is thinking, right? Here, if you see, then searching the web. Okay, yeah, and it give me the information. Okay, now if you see, uh, so what are the steps that it taken? So first step, it the thinking model activated, and then it search in the web. Okay, it search in the web, and also if you see the plus sign here. Okay, so apart from adding photos and file, there are things like deep research, create image, thinking, study and learn more, web search, canvas. Okay, yeah. So again, so add photos and file, deep research, create image, thinking, study and learn more. In more section, we see web search and canvas. So these are the extra things or extra capabilities that this chat GPT have. Let's say if you use API, okay, and if you ask the same question, okay, book a flight ticket from Bangalore to Hyderabad. Maybe what we can do, okay, so let's use this code and okay, the output will be, let's say I ask query. I'm using the chat GPT only. Okay, means chat GPT. I'm using OpenAI model and asking the same question. Okay, and yeah, so output will be model dot invoke, okay, and query. Let's say. So first, let's say query and yeah, let's print the output. Print output dot, yeah. So what it say, I don't have the capability to book flight directly. However, I can guide you. I can help guide you through the process to book a flight. What it say, visit these sites, enter your travel details and browse available flight and follow the prompt to enter passenger. Okay, now if you see the difference between this answer uh, and the answer that we get it here. Okay, let's compare. Yeah, if you see in both the places we are using GPT model only. Okay, so here what it say, from today. So it know on which date I am talking about. Okay, but here if you see, it doesn't know on what date or mm, for which date I am basically want to book a ticket. Okay, and also it able to see the prices. Okay, the cheapest today price is this one, for tomorrow also, and there are many other things. Okay, but here if you see, it doesn't have that information. But if you see in both the places, this is the GPT-5, and here also we are using the OpenAI model one also. So in both the places we are using the same model, but the answer is different. Why? Because these models, let's say this model that I am using here, I I haven't given the access of web or internet. Okay, but here if you see, it already have these powers, extra powers. Extra power in the sense it can use the web search based on the query, based on your question, it can search in the internet. And this search is also intelligently, means in a intelligent way. Let's say there are multiple tools. So based on your question, it will decide which one to use. Okay. Not every time it will do the web search. Okay. Uh, if you want to see it, uh, if you observe it carefully, then again you will know. Okay. Let's say what is the capital of US. Okay. Here if you see, it doesn't uses the web search. Means when you ask any question directly here, it say which tool it is using. So tool is nothing but all the extra capabilities that here the web search, canvas, uh, and the other things are there. It can use those extra capabilities. Okay, based on your question. So let's say, and what is the weather of weather in Colombia today? Okay, or maybe what is the weather and air quality in Delhi. Okay. So if you see, since Chat GPT or any LLM model generally trained on the past data. Okay. But let's say this question basically I'm asking what is the weather and air quality today. Okay. In Delhi. So what it will do, it doesn't have today's information, right? Means when we ask GPT, let's say first ask it here. So let's say Q2. Okay. So what it say, I am unable to provide real-time weather and air quality update. For the most current information on the weather and air quality, please check this website. Okay, let's what is the latest date on which GPT-4 GPT-4 is trained on. Okay. See, uh, as of October 2023. Okay. And let's see GPT 5 if I ask. Okay, October 2023. So it doesn't have the information. Maybe since I'm using GPT-5, let's see it here. So GPT-5, I was using GPT-4 and was asking about GPT-5. So yeah, so because of that, but if you see it here, so GPT-5 is trained on September 30, 24. Okay, and this is the latest model, right? So what it mean? It means that if you ask any question which is after September 2024, what it will use? It will use the web search because it doesn't have that information and it cannot provide that information without the help of internet, or if you do not provide any source. um, so let's say if I ask what is the weather in 2026 September 30 in Delhi. Okay, so this is the future date, right? Let's see what happens. So it clearly say, I'm sorry, but this thing it cannot tell. So it will not hallucinate. Okay, but here if you see, I just ask on, means what is the latest date on which GPT-5 is trained. So this is a September 30, 2024. So that means it cannot tell you the answer without the help of web search or any extra capabilities. If you do not provide any extra capabilities by which it can fetch the data of after 2024, it cannot tell you the answer. So this GPT-5, it has already, means if you see the UI version or means the web version, here all these capabilities are there, right? And because of that only it able to tell you the answer. But in here, if you use API, you are not providing any extra capabilities. You are just using the chat GPT model, means you're just using the GPT-4 model to find the answer. So let's say what is the weather and air quality in September 21, 2021 in Delhi. Let's see what it answer. See, so it able to give you the answer on September 21 because this model is trained on that GPT-4. It's trained on till October 2023. Okay, so if you ask any question which is means, let's say it trained on till October 2023. So before that, if you ask any question, it will be able to tell you the answer. But after 2023, it may not be able to tell you the answer. Okay, so the all the answer that is given by, if you use any API of any LLM, they will give answer only on the means the training data that they are trained on. Okay, so here GPT-4 is trained on till October 2023. Okay, and here if you see also we are using GPT 4.1. Okay, so it will able to give you answer from previous to that date. Okay, yeah, so yeah, so that is the limitation of any LLM model. Okay, So what people observe that Gen AI, let's say Gen AI not able to give you answer previous to uh, okay after Gen AI not able to give you answer after the training date. Okay, so for example, if let's say September 24, 2023 means let's say GPT-4 is trained on this till September 24th data. If you ask questions after this date, it will not be able to give you the proper answer. So this is the limitation of Gen AI. Okay. First, it will not give you the answer after um, the training data date. Let's say again the same thing. So that is one of the limitation. Apart from that also, if you see what I ask, book a flight ticket from Bangalore to Hyderabad. Okay. So if I ask the same question here, uh, it says that these are the website from that you can basically book. Okay. So it will not be able to take the action as well. Okay. So Gen AI will not be able to take any action. Okay. So let's see what is agentic AI first. So there, if you search what is agentic AI, so there are means IBM also providing definition, AWS and Google and Salesforce. So the different companies have provided a definition of what is agentic AI. Okay. So, and based on the answer that I have seen, so mostly follows the IBM definition. Or so if you see what is agentic AI? So agentic AI is an artificial intelligence system that can accomplish a specific goal with limited supervision. It consists of AI agent machine learning model that mimic human decision making to solve problem in real time and blah blah extra things. So yeah, these definitions may be little complex. Okay, but if you see this line, agentic AI builds on generative AI technique by using LLM to function in a dynamic environment. Okay, so if there are advantage and how agentic AI works, perception, reasoning, all these things. So if you want, you can refer this website, but I'm not following that. Uh, yeah. So I have created one slide with the help of Gen AI only. So basically means what is agentic? Okay, in simple term. So first, let's see what is generative AI. So again, the same thing, generative AI model that generate content. It can be in text format, image, audio, code. Okay, they respond to prompts but don't take initiative. Okay, this is the important thing. They respond to prompts but don't take initiative. Okay, so any question you ask, they just give you the answer, but they will not take any action. Okay, so that is a generative AI. So it just generate a content. And if you see also in text generation, these are the model image generation. Okay, now, yeah. So the agentic AI. So agentic AI means AI that thinks, plans, and take action autonomously. Okay. So AI agent can take action. Okay. So AI that can think, plan, take action, use tools, and work autonomously towards goals. So these are some properties. Okay. So the properties goal oriented. So agentic AI basically work toward specific objectives. Okay. Then planning, break goal into executable steps. Then tool use. So tool use is nothing but, let's say, web search, and let's say if you're providing the uh, tools to make the payment as well. So that is also a tool. So they will autonomously use based on the task that you have given, which tool to use. They will decide. Okay, you don't have to program it. You can just provide a tools, and they will, okay, based on user input, they will use those tools. Okay, now, so goal oriented planning, that is okay, but these are the two main things, and the last three: tool use, memory, and reflection. Okay, so in agentic, the three main component is uh, memory. Okay, so memory is very important. So in agentic AI, memory in the sense, they know on what context you are asking any question, let's say. So they know the context as well, and the previous context as well. So let's say if you are creating a chatbot, and we have seen also that without memory, uh, there is a means, let's say if you ask some question, they may not give you a proper answer. So since they don't have memory, means, let's say if the latest question is related to some of the past question. Okay, but because lack of memory or no memory, they only see the current message, and they will not give you the proper answer. So memory is the important thing that agentic AI will have. Okay, second is a tool. Okay, tool is nothing but, let's say if I give you first example of tools, so let's say web search is a tool. Okay, calculator is a tool. Okay, Python, uh, let's say you have given Python code executor. Okay, so this is also a tool. So what it does, Python code executor, let's say if you ask write a program to, let's say you have given some task, means for writing a code. Okay, and you want LLM to not just write a code, also execute and see if there is any error. So that error is so it will able to see, okay, is there some error is coming or not. The right now what we do generally, we ask some question from ChatGPT. Okay, and ChatGPT, what it does, uh, it means you just copy the code and run on your system, maybe on VS Code. Okay, what if I give you the capability where, means if you provide LLM the capability that you can run the code as well. Okay, then they will run the code and see if this there is any error, and after running the code, by seeing the error, they can again pass that error message to the LLM, and this process can be a iterative process. Okay, so once it will check, okay, now the code is running uh, perfectly, then you can use that code. Okay, so Python code executor. Similarly, there are like SQL database access, means, so what it does, let's say if you ask some question, and based on, let's say, if you ask what is my current balance, and that data is stored in SQL. So this can be also a tool, or it is a tool is nothing but just extra capabilities uh, that you are providing to the LLM so that LLM can fetch the data from that place. Okay, so these are some of the example of tools, but there are lots of tools. Okay, and tool is most important thing. Okay, third is reflection. Uh, so reflection is nothing but, let's say you ask Python to write a code. Okay, uh, write a code for uh, front end screen. Okay, and let's say it write a code, and means you just ask LLM to write a code for a front end screen for mobile app. Okay, so let's say in output it gives certain codes, and again, as I say, you, let's say you copy this code, and may not be you copy the code, you just providing a tool where it can run this code. Means LLM only giving the code, and then it using the some tool where it can run that code. And let's say this is the environment where it running the code, and while running the code it seeing some error. Okay, means the code that it has provided, that code only giving some error. What it does, it again pass this error message to the LLM. Okay, then LLM will have this code, previous code, and the error message. Then it will generate some new code. Okay, it will make some changes, and again it will run on the tools. Okay, and let's say this time some different message is coming. Again, it giving the feedback to the LLM. Okay, the code that you have given, I'm getting this error. Okay, so all this process is means this is a iterative process, and you just given one time write a code for front end and screen for mobile app, and after that all this process happening autonomously. Okay, you are not putting anything, all this automatically this thing happening. So this feedback that you are giving and then LLM acting, so these are called reflections. Means it will basically reflect on the error. Okay, so it it is a iterative process. It will see the error and check uh, whether that is means the output is correct or not, and based on that it will move to the next step. Okay, yeah, so that is the reflection. So these are the three main things, like tools, memory, and reflections. Okay, apart from that, goal oriented planning. Yeah, so goal oriented is understand objectives and work toward them independently. Okay, then planning, break complex goal into a step by step actionable plans. Okay, then tool, memory, reflection, multi-agent collaboration. We will see each one. Just focus on right now. Just give importance to tool, memory, and reflection. Okay. Yeah. So how agentic AI work? Let's say if you given any task, first, let's say user provide a high level objective or request. What it will do? It will understand intent. Agent analyze the goal and determine what need to be done. Then it will break the task or the objective that you have given. So first, let's say you have given some objective. Let's say I want to create a e-commerce website. Okay. Let's say you have given this task to Agentic AI. Okay. Now what it will do, it will first understand what you want what you want from Agentic AI to means it will basically understand the task that you have given to Agentic AI. Okay. Also, it will try to understand the intent, then it will plan the steps. Okay. So it will break down the problem into multiple. Let's say if you have to create some e-commerce website, it will require, let's say, images, or there are multiple section, maybe let's say mobile, technology related thing, means electronics, footwear. So it will try to break the problem into multiple steps. Okay. Then it will see what are the tools that it have. Okay. As I said, program execution is one tool. Okay. Similarly, there are other tools. It will see what are the tools it have, and it will use those tools to basically accomplish the given task. So let's say the task is to uh, provide, means create a e-commerce website. Okay, so it will see whether it has a database access or payment access or other tools. What are the tools, and based on that it will try, using those tools it will try to accomplish the task. Okay. And then let's say if once it created code or the website, it will evaluate as well. Okay. And based on the evaluation, let's say if it doesn't come satisfactory, again the process will reiterate. Okay, so there will be multiple iteration. In first iteration it may not give you the right answer, so it will observe. Okay, what is the output that it is getting, and it will try to improve based on what you want. Okay, so that process is iterative. Okay, now right now there are some LLM model which are reasoning LLM. Okay, so reasoning LLM, they can think logically and deeply, but they don't have tools, and they are not autonomous, and they has memory limited to context window. Okay, so the message that we are giving, that only. So reasoning model and agentic AI. So in agentic AI, they have tools, memory, and then they can evaluate. Okay, so let's say how agentic AI works. Okay, let's say you are working in a some finance or in a stock market where uh, the task is, let's say you want to invest in a ETF. Okay, uh, you want to invest in a ETF, but need to find the best option based on low expense ratio, high 5-year return, moderate risk level. So let's say this is the task that you want to execute through with the help of agentic. Okay, so the task is you want to invest in a ETF. ETF is nothing, assume it is a some stocks. Okay, but you also want to give these criteria. So low expense ratio. So low expense ratio is, let's say if you are investing in some ETF, they charge, means that ETF. No, let's say ETF is from, so there is a Nippon. Nippon is one company which basically creating. So ETF is a basket of, means there are multiple companies. Uh, so they create one basket and they put, let's say, if there is a gold company or means gold ETF, say they will put different companies who are selling the gold, and they invest on that thing. Okay, so since this basket is created by Nippon company, so they will charge something. So it is like a mutual fund only. So uh, let's say there are multiple, ICICI have a mutual fund, Kotak has a mutual fund, and similarly there are other companies as well. They have mutual funds. So they, since they are deciding on which company to invest, so they charge something, some amount, a small amount. Okay, so that is called expense ratio. So basically you want to, so these are the three criteria that you are giving: low expense ratio, high 5-year returns. So last 5 year, how much means I want high return, and also I want to take low risk. Okay, so these are the, let's say this is the task that we want to give. We want to solve it through, let's say, agentic AI. Okay, so let's say first if you give it to Gen AI. Okay, so user request, let's say which ETF is best for long-term investment. So what it will do, it will give you the data answer based on the training data that it have. Since Gen AI or LLM don't have the tools, so tools again I said web search, or there are different tools, so they will not able to see, means they will not since they don't have the access of the tools, they will not give you the proper answer. Okay, so if you see here also, uh, did not fetch live market data. Okay, so current data it cannot fetch from the market, right? And also what it will did not compare expense ratio, since it doesn't have those tools, it will not be able to give you the right answer. Okay, so this is a Gen AI approach. Now agentic AI approach, so what it will do, first it will understand goals. Okay, so let's say find the best ETF with low expense ratio. So this, let's say you have given this task to agentic, so it will understand goal, pass requirement, expense ratio, return, risk level. So first it will understand, okay, these are the things that I need to find first. Okay, expense ratio, returns, and risk level. Now what it will do, it will see, okay, I don't, in my the LLM that I am using, in that these data are not available. So what it will do, it will use the web search. So web search tool it will use, and so from web search it will try to, so Yahoo Finance is a one place where you can see the this data. Okay, so it will go to the Yahoo Finance and extract the data which can answer these things. Okay, and first it will extract the information and then it will analyze those information, analyze and calculate. Okay, so this is a agentic AI approach. Uh, yeah. Huh. Now in agentic also there are different levels of autonomy. Okay, so let's, yeah. So in agentic also there are different level of autonomy. So it is similar to, mm, let's say in car. So there are two types of car, right? Manual and autonomous. So in manual, gear is there, gear is there, and uh, means this gear you have to manually put the gear, but this in autonomous, the gear shifting is done automatically. And this is one of the feature. Apart from that, there are also, but in autonomous also there are different level as well. Okay, so level 0, 1, 2. So right now in India, uh, many car achieve level 2. So in level 2, uh, and Tesla, if you see the Tesla, it achieves level 4. So in level 4, you don't need any driver. They can run, means the car will be driven automatically. Okay, uh, no driver is required. But in India, the Tata or most of the cars, they achieve the level 2. So in level 2, let's say if any truck is in front of the car and our car is in some speed, so if it basically able to detect the distance, safe distance, and if there is a, let's say the car crossing that safe distance, it will automatically put the brake, and there are line follower, and there are many things, right? So this is, it is autonomous, but not completely autonomous. Okay. So the level 2. So similarly in agentic also there are different level of autonomy. Okay. So if you see 0, semi-auto, task auto, goal auto, multi-agent. Okay. So the 0. So if you see the Gen AI, so that is a 0 level. Okay. So level 0, manually no autonomy. AI only respond when I ask. Okay. So it doesn't provide any autonomy. So simple Gen AI is basically level 0 autonomy. Okay. In level 1, okay. Okay. Let's say. So in level 1, this is a semi-autonomous. Act in steps, check with the user, and asks before fetching data. Okay. So this is a semi-autonomous. Task autonomous, execute multiple step plans. Okay. In goal autonomous, define sub goals, adapts, and last is a multi-agent. So there are different means. Let's say if you are running a company or in multi-agent, you are basically creating a multiple agent and they are collaborating to give you the final steps. Okay. So this is just to give idea. Uh, Means in agentic AI, it doesn't mean that it is a fully autonomous. It has the autonomy can vary. Okay, it can be semi-autonomous or fully autonomous as well. Okay. Huh. Yeah. So if you see, if I give you a company analogy, let's say there are different level of means let's say so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's say there are different level of autonomy. So let's say the level 0. Let's say if I give you the same thing that we discussed through some employee example. So let's say if any intern is there. Okay. So intern is who doing engineering or maybe some graduation and they come here to do some tasks. So the behavior is they will give you answer, or let's say if you are given so only answer when asked. Okay. So basically they are interns. So you have to tell them at every steps. Okay. So let's say, okay, first create this one. So they created that, then they will come. Then we'll say, okay, this complete this task. Okay. So this is a level 0 autonomy. Okay. So only answer when asked. Okay. Now there are different. So first level is a junior analyst. Okay. So it just asks before acting. Okay. So what it will do, let's say if you have given a task, okay, and they will create some plan and then they will come back to you and they will say, should I proceed with this? Based on your approval only, they will proceed with that. Okay. So this is a level 1. Second, level 2 is a completes assigned project. So this is a means you just give a goal, review results. Okay, so your task is to just review the results. In level 3, set direction only means let's say senior manager plan and acts independently. Okay, so they will means you just need to provide the direction. In this direction, I'm thinking this senior manager will automatically understand, okay, what you want, and they will execute all these things. So you don't have to tell uh, means much detail. Okay. And let's say this is a fourth is a, let's say AI department. Okay. Let's say the company owner. So company owner, let's say given some task, means not given some task. He said that I want to create some product on AI. Okay. What product? He doesn't know. It just say Okay, AI. So this the AI department which come under him, what it will they will automatically uh, assign tasks to agent, sub-agent. Okay, so the lower teams, right? Senior manager, analyst, junior analyst. So AI department. So this is a level 4 autonomy. Okay, so these are few examples or analogy. Now tools already discussed. So let's say these are the few common tools: web browser, calculator, database query, financial API, code executor, email sender. Okay. So let's say if you want to send some email uh, through with the help of LLM. Let's say if you want to need sick leave and you just ask LLM or Agentic AI, I want to, I'm not feeling well. Just send me the mail. Okay, for leave. It will automatically create the mail and send it through mail. So for that, you'll need email sender tools. Okay. Yeah. So if you see why tools matter, enable action. Without tools, LLM can only talk about solution. Tool enable them to actually execute and make things happen. Right? Let's say if you want to book a ticket, LLM can only tell you talk, right? It means it can tell you the steps, all those things, but it will not be able to execute. But if you provide a tools, okay, through which they can basically book a ticket, then they will execute the talk as well. Okay, so that is the main advantage of using tools. Connect to real world. So let's say if you want to get some live information or anything, so tool will basically help you to connect the LLM with the real world. So this is the most mis- so tool is the most important thing in a um, agentic AI. Okay, so if you see the autonomous loops, enable, plan, act, observe, reflect. Okay, so if you see the complete system, the LLM is like brain. Okay, so it just know how to think, and the tool are like hand. But let's say if I want to uh, mm, if I want to drive a car, okay, my brain can tell you, okay, just move left or right or go straight, push the brake. But for doing all this thing, I will require hand and legs. Okay, so these hand and legs are like tool, and without that tool, the LLM can only talk, right? So yeah, so this is how, means this is the power of tool. Means LLM is important, equally important, but without tools, without legs and hand, you cannot act on anything. Okay, you just keep the means thinking part or talking part only. You cannot act on anything. So this tool is like that. Okay. So one more thing is like workflow. Okay. Uh, so let's say if you create any agentic system, workflow. Workflow is nothing but series of steps that we are defining through program. Okay. Now you may ask, like there are different level of autonomy and program can do all the things automatically. So why we define the steps, right? Uh, since agentic can do things on its your own, so why we need to define the steps, right? So the problem that many companies and uh, many companies let's say autonomy, if I see autonomy and let's say error, okay, so this curve is like this. Yeah. So as you increase the autonomy, the error or or chance of failure. So let's say when autonomy is 0, the chance of failure is very less. Okay. But as you increase the autonomy from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, the chance error of uh, or chance of failure is increases. Okay. So we want to means we want some human intervention, and we want to control the things. Okay, means we want means again if I showcase this thing, controllability and autonomy. Okay, so if the autonomy is less, you can control more. But if you're providing a highly autonomous, then controllability is less. So we try to see the things not very high controllable, not very high autonomy. Okay. We want to control, but not everything we want to control. For example, if you're providing a robot, if you're creating a robot that is autonomous, fully autonomous. Okay. And let's say you have given some task. Okay. But let's say in that task, it try to calculate something, and he feels like that he need to put some punches. Okay. So this that robot can be violent. Okay. But unless you have control on that robot, that you cannot means you cannot prevent the things that going in a wrong direction. Okay. So controllability is very important. So all the agentic AI things, we need to control the things. We want to see the things happening based on what we want, not only agentic AI. Let's say if agentic AI go in some wrong direction, we can basically have the control to put or to take him in the right direction. So for that, we basically define the series of steps that we will see when we see the program, how we can uh, define the series of steps, but that are super important. Without that, the cost cost is also one of the factor, and the safety is also an issue. So we cannot control that thing. Okay, so for that, workflow is very important. So if you see, so workflow is sequence of steps. So work or action designed to complete a specific task. Okay, so as here, think of it like a recipe or playbook, the operating procedure for the agent. Okay, how the agent should behave and how it should operate. So that we can define through workflows. So let's say if I have to create a ETF agent workflow, what should I write? Means how should I define? So first, parse user intent, how low expense ratio, high 5-year return, moderate risk. This is the first step that I ask agent to define the understand the goal, what user is asking. Next step, I ask agent to plan the steps, how you will able to, how you will calculate or how you will solve that goal. Okay. Then call tools to solve these steps. The second steps, I will tell agent to use the tools. These are the tools that I will provide. Get ETF data, calculate return, access risk. Then it will analyze and rank, reasoning, summarize, save or act. So all these steps we are giving. Okay. So in a workflow, we will define, okay, these are the steps that you need to follow. Okay. So let's say if you are creating an agentic AI system, in that the first module can be based on user question. First understand what user is asking. So this understand goal module will basically just understand what user is what user want. Now the second module or second block will be, maybe I can see it through here. Uh, mm, okay, so let's say user want, I want to invest in Tata Motors share, and I want to do swing trading. Okay, just to get return of 20% annually. Okay, let's say user want this thing. Okay, so he want to invest in a Tata Motors share, and he okay with the swing trading to get a return of 20% annually. So let's say if he invest 1 lakh, he want to get 1,20,000. Okay, and swing trading is uh, so swing trading is like you are basically multiple times you are purchasing and selling. Okay, so let's say if the market is down, at that time it purchase, and when it market goes up or the share of Tata Motors go up, it will that he want to sell. Okay, so that thing he want to do it from agentic AI. Okay, so let's say this is the objective. Now to solve this thing, I will create some workflow. So this agentic workflow is like we are programming agentic AI how to solve any problem. So we will assign some steps. So first steps, let's say, we'll say understand the goal. Okay. So he understand the goal means it will just see what user want. Second, break the goal into smaller steps. Okay. So first it will understand the goal, that it will pass through the second block, which basically break that goal into a smaller steps. Third will be use tools to achieve the goals. Okay. So let's say what tools it will use. It will use calculator because some calculation will required. Okay. So what are the tools that we can give? Calculator. Then let's say these stocks are prices are available in Zerodha. Okay, so Zerodha API. Okay, so this is the second tool that we can provide through which it can do the um, let's say we have also strategy. Let's say if you have created some document where what should be the strategy you have written. So you are giving that tool, means you are treating that as also a tool. Okay. So let's say you are giving three tools. So just to solve this, it will use, it may not, it may, it up to LLM to use all three tools or one of them. Okay. But it will have these options. Let's say based on these tools, it will get some answer, right? It will evaluate the answer. Evaluate the answer means it will see what user want and what we are providing. It will try to match both the things. If we are not providing what user want, then it will again reiterate the process. Okay. And then it will give the final output. Okay. So this means we want agentic AI should behave in this manner. Okay. So through program, we basically, uh, if we are providing these steps, so agentic AI or the agentic AI will behave in this manner. So first it will understand the goal. So it will always follow this process. Okay. From top to bottom. Okay. So this is a workflow. Okay. There are different workflow like a static workflow. When you given the fixed steps, okay, these steps predefined sequence of steps. Dynamic workflow, agent decide next step based on reasoning, conditional, all those things. And multi-agent, there will be a multiple agent and they will try to collaborate with each of this. Okay. In a static workflow, user input, then LLM will plan, fetch data, analyze, summarize, output. Okay. This is the example of static workflow. Why workflow matter? Consistency, control. Define boundaries and order of operation for safe execution. Transparency. Means transparency is super important because you want to know based on what logic it has provided that output. Okay. What it was thinking. Unless you know based on what logic and it given that output, you cannot debug the problem if you are not getting the proper output. Okay. Let's say if you are getting the good output, that is okay. But let's say if you are not getting the proper output. So the transparency will be, if there is a lack of transparency, you cannot control the things. And that is the problem of, let's say, if you use NA10. So NA10 is a agentic AI. With the help of UI, you can create a agentic AI system. For example, NA10. See, so let's say if you create a workflow. Okay, so this is how you just need to put the blocks. Okay, like this AI agent, you are providing the LLM model, this database, some other tools you are Jira software. So these are like tools, means memory, all these things are means in tools. These are the Jira software and Microsoft Intra ID. In memory, you are given the Postgres chat memory. Okay. And this is the workflow that you have given, created using the help of N18. So N18 is a software through which you can create a agentic AI system. But the problem with that, you cannot basically debug the system, means you don't have the full control because already behind that there is a code written, right? You don't have the access of that those codes. So it will be very difficult to basically create a debug those things. Okay, so that is why many companies doesn't prefer this thing because you don't have much control over that. Okay, and control is the super important thing in agentic AI system. Okay, but we will see the N8N as well. But yeah. Integration seamlessly connect reasoning tools and data sources. Yeah. Okay. So LangGraph is just a means LangChain only means LangGraph is basically a agentic AI framework uh, where you can create a workflow means all the things that you have seen you can create it through LangGraph. So in LangGraph we write Python code, and with the help of that we are basically defining the tools. We can create our own tools. Okay, and let's say if we have to there are different integration also they have provided to, let's say, Gmail, GitHub. There are many things. MCP server will come. Um, there are many capabilities that so LangGraph is the most powerful AI agentic AI development framework. This is complex as compared to N8N and other agentic AI framework, but this provide you a more power than other competitor. Okay, ChatGPT also have its agentic AI framework. ChatGPT, let's see, OpenAI agentic framework, Agent Kit. Okay, so this recently launched. So here also, if you see, there is a block. Okay, so before that, N8 was very famous, but with the means this, I think 1 month before, not even 1 month before, this agent kit come, and this we called it as a N8N killer. So N8N is a agentic AI framework, and this agentic kit is more simpler to that and providing more power than N8N. Okay, so this is one of the so this is a these are basically a UI based framework. Okay, so in UI just you need to put the blocks to create an agentic AI system. Okay, similarly there are a CrewAI. CrewAI is also a agentic AI framework. So this is a code based. Okay, you can write code to create an agent. So how to use is use this thing that is also there. Google ADK, that is also a agentic AI thing framework. Google ADK, yeah, agent development kit. So Google also created. Similarly, Microsoft also have AutoGen. Yeah, AutoGen is a Microsoft agentic framework. Okay, just you need to know the name. You don't have to know all the framework. So just know one of the framework. Maybe so LangGraph. Just uh, if you have to know the one framework, because there are many frameworks, just use a LangGraph. Okay, so this is a uh, LangGraph is basically a code-based framework to create a agentic AI system. Okay, and if you have to use one UI-based also, then Agentic Kit by OpenAI that we can see. Yes. So the two framework you can know, one is Agentic Kit and other is a LangGraph. You don't have to know the other framework.
Sir, one doubt, sir.
Huh.
Can we use any of the framework to, I mean, suppose there is already an existing system, suppose in any industry, and if it is asked to create and integrate any system, so is it possible to use any of these frameworks to integrate it in any other system?
What system you want to integrate?
I mean, suppose there is a website of a company, and
Mhm.
if we develop a agentic AI using one of the framework, and we
Mhm.
want to integrate it in that website, then is it possible to do so?
Yeah,
Uh,
you can integrate
okay.
anything.
Yes, sir. So how we will do that?
The-
Yes, sir.
how we will integrate.
Yes, sir.
So that we will see, na? In agentic AI,
Yes, sir.
what we will learn. All those things only
Yes, sir.
we will learn, na? That is the
Yes, sir.
thing. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Any other question from anyone? So today
Yes, sir.
class was, yeah, yeah, Raghu.
Yeah, yeah. Just a small doubt. Like
Mhm.
recently, I have like I have learned the subject about MCP servers, Model Context Protocol. Like it is advanced to agentic AI or a part of agentic
That is not a agentic. This is one of the part, like tool, na? You have seen tools, right? Web search or other tools, right? So this MCP is created by so MCP is Model Context Protocol. Okay,
AI? Yes.
that we will see in the agentic part also. So so tool, we can create our own tools. Okay, and MCP is just a rule how to create those tools. Okay.
Okay. It's used to set the boundaries for this MCP, like a security thing. Like we cannot access this LLM to directly our corporate databases like that. So these MCP servers, like they will set boundaries to these LLMs.
Yeah, that also security is also one thing. And let's say GitHub also created a MCP server. Okay, let's say if you have to, um, similarly GitHub, Google Drive, Gmail, all these have created a MCP server. Okay, so for example, if you have to connect your LLM with this those things, let's say Gmail, okay, and let's say Google Drive or WhatsApp, Telegram. So with the help of MCP server, you can connect those um, sites or Drive or Gmail through MCP. So MCP give give you basically how we can connect with those tools. And Anthropic has created some set of rules that, let's say if you have to create those things, uh, how by following those steps you can create those tools. Okay, so let's say for API, right? Fast API, and uh, so for API also there are some rules similar to that. The For creating a tool also there are some rules, and these rules are called as a model context protocol. So protocol is nothing but protocol is what? That you have to follow the steps, right? So it is like that only.
Okay, okay, okay.
Huh. Any other question? Okay. So I hope everybody have created at least the data webs, means maybe link in link form, or have you able to collect the data?
I have got the links and I have just copied everything. I just will connect with the one-on-one so that I have some doubts like how to create this programming and all.
Okay.
I'll connect sometime like Saturday like that.
Okay. And
Okay.
any Veena, you on what project you are working, or on which domain, or you haven't decided yet?
Sir, still I haven't decided, sir.
Okay. So just choose one domain. Maybe
Okay,
it,
sir.
it may be a banking.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Sure, sir.
But choose one domain and so that will be your major project. Means uh, when you have to put something in your resume, okay,
Okay.
about project that we will do, that project you can refer. So this project means while doing this project,
Mm-hmm.
you will know, means not just for you, for other also. So once you complete these projects, okay,
Okay.
then
Okay.
you will know most of the things, what are the difficulty challenges, because
Okay.
in interview they will ask what challenges you faced, how you are creating the data. Okay, so these things you can tell confidently unless only when you do by yourself. Okay, and right now we have learned only Gen AI and RAG. So just try to incorporate those things, and once we will complete the agentic AI also, we will further advance those project by integrating the agentic AI things as well. Okay, so yeah. So Murli, have you decided the domain? I think
No,
Murli
sir.
is
Yeah,
okay.
no, sir. I
So,
haven't decided.
so please decide. Okay, and just decide the domain, and maybe you can start collecting the data because and also if you face any problem, you can connect with, I think, Chirantan, Aditya, Yogesh, and Soumya. So they are already creating the data. So you people can take the help of those people how to choose the topic and how you can create the data. Just link, okay, and then once all the people, or let's say if you complete the task of just, let's say, the domain selection and then the link associated with that domain, website link, or it can be a PDF, any format, or it can be images. Just collect the data on which you want to work. Okay, and then we can connect one by one to one, to just see the progress and the difficulty that you are facing. Okay, and do not worry about, let's say, if you are not able to do anything on that, means, let's say if you are not able to even call the LLM, so do not worry about that, that I will help you. Just try to select the domain and the link. The actual learning will start from project. Okay, till now you people have some base, but still, uh, I know it is very difficult to uh, uh, just gather the things and implement those things. Okay, learning is okay, but while implementing, many times we not be able to do it properly. So there I will help you. Do not worry about that. So just choose the domain, and data collection part you can connect with any, means in, you can ask question in group, or if they not be able to answer, then I can, you can connect with me. Okay, yeah. Okay, guys, thanks. So next class will be on Friday. So from Friday we'll start coding. Okay, so today was totally theory, but in next class we will start with coding. Okay, okay then. Thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.